What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Bad Dog back with another New York Giants video. And in this video, I want to talk about some viable trade partners that the New York Giants could possibly trade down with in the upcoming draft next month to see exactly what we could do to get some more draft capital, because Lord knows you build through the draft, you don't build through free agency, and we have a lot of holes on this team. We could definitely use as many draft picks as possible without a doubt. So there's a couple teams that I want to go over and think about this. Now, listen, there's a lot that could go on with the draft. We all know that Joe Burrow is going to go to Cincinnati. That's pretty much a thing. Now, there's teams that could definitely trade up with Washington to get that number 2 pick. Maybe Washington goes out and takes Tua without a doubt. Perhaps the Lions get traded up with at number 3 because, they want Jeff Okudah. Maybe they feel like he could fall. But for the argument's sake, just for this video, we're going to say everything goes according to plan. That Burrow goes to Cincinnati, that Chase Young goes to Washington, that Jeff Okudah goes to the Detroit Lions. And I'm guessing that Okudah is going there because they just got rid of Darius Slay and they've addressed the linebacker spot, so I don't really think they're going to go in on Isaiah Simmons. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that the first 3 picks go according to plan. The New York Giants sit there at number 4. There's a lot of teams that could use a quarterback in this draft, Miami being one of them. Now, I don't really see Miami moving up a spot. I don't know what they would do that for. Of course, the Bears did it a couple years ago when they moved up one spot to get Mitch Trubisky, and I still don't understand that because Trubisky's long gone, and they went out and got Foles. I really don't understand what that move was all about, especially with Mahomes and Watson being there. It's just one of the worst trades in the history of the draft with the Chicago Bears, but I digress. I don't see Miami being a very viable spot for us to trade up with now, or trade back with, I'm sorry. Los Angeles Chargers, this is definitely one that you could see. Obviously, with Phillip Rivers going to the Colts, the Chargers are big time in for a quarterback in this draft. There's no doubt about it. And perhaps they do want to jump Miami and take Tua out of Alabama. Tua healthy is probably the best. I don't want to say he's the best quarterback because Joe Burrow was amazing, but Tua before the injury is a hell of a play. I mean, he's a hell of a quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks in this draft, without a doubt. And when he's healthy, you could really call Burrow and Tua 1 and 1A. They're really that close. Tua's an amazing athlete, great at Alabama, and without the injury history, the guy may have been the number 1 overall pick in the draft. We don't know. Obviously, the injury hurt his draft stock, but you could definitely see Los Angeles trading up and getting him. And perhaps Los Angeles moves up to number 4 and gives us their second round pick, which I believe is number 38, if I'm not mistaken. This would be a great trade for the Giants because at number 6, you could still go out and get your offensive tackle if you wanted, and Isaiah Simmons is still going to be there at number 6 if that's the route that you wanted to go, because Miami would probably take Justin Herbert. They're not going to knock it with a quarterback. They need a quarterback. I don't think they believe in Josh Rosen. So I believe the quarterbacks would be there at 4 and 5, which would leave Simmons at number 6, or any of those linemen that the Giants want at 6, be it Wirfs, Wills, Thomas, or Becton. I'm not a big fan of Becton, but those are the 4 guys you hear about the New York Giants drafting. And then maybe with 36 and 38, you could trade back into the first round and get a player that you want, or you could get a couple other players. Maybe you address the center at 36 and you get Zach Bond late, second round. And I watched some highlights on Zach Bond, and I'm sold. Zach Bond's a hell of a player. So this is something that the New York Giants could do without a doubt. The Oakland Raiders the Jacksonville Jaguars are another one. Now, people could say, Bad Dog, why would the Jaguars trade up to number 4? They don't need a quarterback. They believe, obviously, very highly in Gardner Minshew, or they wouldn't have traded Nick Foles. But maybe there is a player at number 4 that Jacksonville feels will not fall to number 9. Perhaps they want a lineman really bad at number 4. Perhaps they want Isaiah Simmons at number 4. I really don't know what the Jags are looking for. Now, while this might not be the most viable option for a trade-back partner in the draft for the New York Giants, maybe there is a guy that the Jacksonville Jaguars really pine for at number 4. You never know. There could be somebody on their board that they just don't believe is going to fall to that spot, and Jacksonville's got a great defense already. Maybe there's that one player they feel that could really set them up and get over the top there in the AFC South. Really don't know. This is my dream scenario, trading back with them, getting number 9 and number 20, because at that point, you're still going to get one of your linemen, and at this point, you still have the viable option to get Kenneth Murray, who I absolutely love. I love Kenneth Murray. At number 20, this would be a great move for the New York Giants. There's a lot of talk. I don't think he'd get past the Raiders at 19, personally, but there's a lot of talk, and a lot of mock drafts have him going to Baltimore. So if the Giants are at number 20, they could step up in front of the Ravens and take that pick, which I would love. Speaking of the Raiders, this is another one that the New York Giants can possibly trade with. Now, I know they went out and got Marcus Mariota, but they do not believe in Derek Carr. And there's a very good possibility that they brought Mariota in here for this reason. Maybe the Raiders do want to move up from 12 to 4, and the Giants could get number 12 and number 19. And because for the simple fact that they don't believe in Derek Carr, and maybe Marcus Mariota went over there to fill in the starting spot for 1 year. This is very possible. The Raiders could trade all the way up to number 4 and get Tua, without a doubt, and have Tua sit behind Mariota for a season and then allow Tua to come in a couple of years later. This way, his hip would be completely healed. He'd have a year of, film, just a year of experience on his belt, a year of film study and everything else at the NFL level. This would be a great move for the Giants. It actually would be a great move for the Raiders, to be honest with you, because Derek Carr is not their future. Marcus Mariota is not their future, and Tua could be their future without a doubt. And at 12 and 19, the Raiders have a lot of draft capital, and this is a very fair deal for both teams, if you ask me. This is the team that's very interesting to me, is the Los Angeles, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Mexico Raiders, wherever the hell the Raiders are playing these days. The Vegas Raiders, that sounds so weird. The Vegas Raiders, I mean, you're moving to Vegas. There's talk about Odell Beckham going there. Can you imagine Odell Beckham going to the Raiders and then grabbing a guy like Tua in the draft, and you could have Tua to Beckham for years to come in Vegas? It'd be a nice move for the Raiders. This way, again, I believe one of those 4 guys, your Wills, your Wirfs, Becton, or Thomas, is available at number 12, and Kenneth Murray would be there at 19. These are the guys. I mean, I want Kenneth Murray. Let's face it. I'm a Sooner fan. I love Kenneth Murray. If you've watched Kenneth Murray's film, if you haven't watched Kenneth Murray's film, please go watch Kenneth Murray's film, because I think he's the second best linebacker outside of Isaiah Simmons in this draft. Now, it's not, don't get me wrong, Isaiah Simmons is up here, Kenneth Murray's down here. It's not like they're 1 and 1A, okay? Isaiah Simmons is by far the best linebacker in this draft, and I pine for Isaiah. I love Isaiah Simmons' game. But if the Giants want to trade back and get capital, these are a couple of teams that I feel like they could do it with, without a doubt. I think the Raiders could be the most viable option, without a doubt. Because, again, if they move up to 4, Tua's the guy. I mean, the Raiders could definitely use Tua. No doubt about it. Moving to Vegas. And, again, there's talks about Odell Beckham maybe going to Vegas. And of course, this is all rumors, so who really knows. But those are a couple of teams that I thought the Giants could trade back with, get some draft capital, and add some really good players in the draft. Let me know what you think in the comments section, guys. I think the Chargers, the Jags, and the Raiders are all very viable. I shouldn't say very viable. I don't think the Jags are very viable. They're a viable partner. But I definitely think the Chargers and the Raiders are a very viable partner for the New York Giants. And let me know what you think in the comments section. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button for me, and I will see you next time. Until then, it's the Bad Diggity Dizzle, and I am gone. Peace!